Zennie62, and I've been wondering if maybe any of you guys have noticed this, but when we went to Texas, both in Arlington and in Houston, we didn't get quite a warm reception from the A's players or the staff. Not that they're required to by any means, but it was unusual. In years past, we've been to dozens of A's road games where well-known players, star players, gave us the time of day. Honestly, they would say hello, they would joke with you, might sign an autograph or toss up a ball at batting practice or something. But this being the most recent road trip that we've taken since this whole relocation saga really took off this year, I'm starting to wonder if the A's players and staff are being directed from above to not engage with Oakland fans. And this is interesting because, you know, my kid knows some of these guys by name. We go to minor league games. I mean, some of these guys are lucky to even be in the majors. Let's be real. Any other team probably would have star players making millions of dollars, and these guys would still be in Stockton and Las Vegas, and not at a major league level. One or two maybe, but it's besides the point. These guys act like big shots, and I won't say they're outrightly rude, but their indifference and their just generally unwelcoming attitude wasn't good. And there were a few things that happened that made me wonder this, because there were, again, we know some of these guys by name. Some of these kids know my kid. Not me as much. I mostly just sit there and watch and have something to eat while my kid's hounding him for balls and autographs. But when you develop that rapport and then somebody pulls back, you have to wonder. It's like, wow, we're the only ones here. It'd be one thing if there were, multiple A's fans there, but we're 2 hours early for a game, and there's batting practice. And in Arlington, we were literally for 20 minutes the only fans in the stands, and these guys were just like, usually a ball would come and hit the wall or something like that, and they'll toss one up if you ask. These guys were pretending they'd get you one and then throwing it back in, and there's always, they'll toss up a few, but how do I put it? They'll reuse a lot of them, but they'll toss up a few. These guys weren't tossing up anything. And then when Rangers fans started showing up, they would toss it to them. It's like, wow, we're just trying to get a ball or something. It's like these guys were just like intentionally just avoiding us. And that's kind of a bummer, and we've had really great experiences over the years. I remember going to Chicago, and we went to Chicago, both Chicago teams, as well as Milwaukee, and they'd see my kid, and Stephen Piscotty, for instance, he would see my kid, and he would toss up a warm-up ball or something. They would play catch back and forth. Last year in Washington, in D.C., Stephen Vogt. There's a video of this. Stephen Vogt actually sat there and talked to my kid, and they played catch in the bullpen, and it's like there were these really sweet and friendly moments that used to happen on the regular, and it's like now they just don't happen. And I'm wondering if there's some pressure from above to again not interact with the fans, and I don't understand if there is that sort of motivation, because it's like, why would you want to hurt the few fans you have left? Because even despite all this stuff, as much as I'm upset, my kid just loves baseball. He likes his A's, and he loves the team, he loves the players, and he just wants to be a part of the situation, not the, he wants to be a part of the game, not the relocation. Even though as much as his image has been attached to it, it is what it is. But yeah, just that friendliness seems to be gone, and I don't know why you'd want to drive your fans away, the ones that are still coming to see you across the country. That seems counterintuitive, but again, maybe it's just a different day. I don't know. And it would have been one thing if it was only in Arlington, and if it was only that one day, but it happened both days in Arlington, and it happened again in Houston. And that was a real bummer, because we got special seats in a special section. We paid extra just so we can be there, and they were just like, whatever. And again, I would expect it maybe from Mike Trout or somebody, where they're just like, we're just going to avoid the fanfare. But for guys who are fresh out of the minors, nobody knows their name, for somebody to recognize you, and especially a younger person, if you're trying to grow the game, you at least want to interact with them and not be a jerk. There was one player in particular who did, I will at least give him that, who was somewhat pleasant with my kid, and I have no idea who he is, and he's a pitcher. That's all I know he is. He's a relief pitcher. Even though my kid was trying to get a ball from him, he played rock, paper, scissors with him for a minute, and then gave the ball to some other kid. I don't know, or maybe they're just so cheap that they don't want to throw any balls into the stands. But that was that theory went out the window when they were throwing all the balls up to Rangers fans. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just wrong place, wrong time. Anyways, I'm being a little bit of a Karen here, going, oh, boo-hoo, my kid didn't get a ball. He did. He got his ball. He always does. But it was just the general vibe of the situation, which was, I'm like, are they told to ignore us? And if they're not, why are they being so off-putting when encountering fans, especially fans from somewhere else, not in their home crowd? When two people come across the country to cheer you on, I don't know, I feel like maybe you don't have to roll out the red carpet for them, but I feel like maybe I've seen it happen. I've experienced it in 20 different cities, where they go, we're really glad you're here, basically. I mean, that's how they make you feel. They don't have to give you anything or any of that. Just they acknowledge you. They'll come by, they'll say hi, they'll shake your hand. Sometimes they'll throw a ball at you. There's so much that can happen, those interactions. I mean, I remember 2018, the last game, was 2018? 2021. Last game of the season was in Houston, and the players were great. Tony Camp comes up, he was signing baseballs. He threw his wristband to my kid, took a picture. You know, Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, they were signing balls. Like, all these guys were really cool, you know. And it's just that road game thing. You felt like you were part of something, you know, not necessarily part of the team, but, you know, you felt like, you know, you were wanted and you were respected. And there was just this last road trip really felt just really down, you know. And I was trying to make the most of it. Certainly my kid was. We booked the trip back in February, before all the shit really hit the fan. And you know, I paid for my flight and my hotels, and, you know, I wasn't getting that back. So I was like, well, I guess I got to take this trip. I probably wouldn't have. None of the regular folks showed up. You know, usually I'll run into a number of people who, especially when there's multiple consecutive cities or teams in a close proximity. Like last year was Baltimore and Washington, and they played back against the A's. And then this year was Houston and Texas, which is in Dallas, Arlington. Usually you'll see like the same few people come through and attend these games and make a trip of it, a party. Yeah, they're not the same. They're definitely not the same. Sir Chi 87. It's not fun. It's just not fun anymore. And that's kind of a bummer when you go and you spend that kind of money and everybody's just like, whatever, it's ho-hum. The players are ho-hum, the staff are ho-hum, the fans are ho-hum. But we still showed up, you know, and we still did it. And but like I was saying, is, you know, we go to these games in the past, and these same folks would show up. Guys like right field Will, Ross, who one of the main guys over with the Oakland 68s. You know, there's quite a few of these guys who you will see regularly at these games, especially roadies. Sometimes dozens of guys. The whole damn right field bleachers, left field bleachers will come through. You know, those diehard guys aren't doing it anymore. I mean, that's a bad sign when those guys aren't showing up to roadies. You know, maybe last year was the last hurrah. And the few guys who have, I have somewhat communicated with, you know, they're like, yeah, we're not into it. You know, we don't support them because they don't support us. You know, if you go to a game now, you know, half these guys are just staring at their phones or talking to each other. They're not there for the team as much anymore as they are for each other. Expansion team wouldn't work in Oakland for baseball. Too many people in the East Bay pretty much will be petty and hold grudge. I don't think so. I'm gonna disagree, because when it gets down to it, the people in Oakland are about Oakland. And if you brought another team in, so most of these teams, or most of these people that I know in Oakland, and this may just be because this is the circle I run in, but I know a lot of Raiders fans who just don't care anymore. But baseball's a little different. Baseball is very regional, and more so than football or basketball. When fans in Oakland specifically have something to cheer for, we are there. We will support it. You see how they just a fledgling little soccer club like the Roots. Who else is coming to these games like Oakland fans are? And you saw Raiders fans. Raiders fans aren't going to Las Vegas, a few of them, but they're not doing it. It's nothing like Oakland. I don't buy the theory that Oakland can't support it. Excuse me, allergies. It's been bad since I went to New York. But you gotta, if there ever is going to be expansion, and it's starting to mirror what I said about a month ago. If it's gonna happen, it has to happen now. You can't have a lull, because people will forget. People will find other teams to love, whether they follow the A's to Las Vegas or they decide they'll just jump on with the Giants because that's the closest thing to a home team they have, or they just pick whoever else, you know. Some people I know pick teams because they like a certain player. Some people pick it because they like the colors, or their grandma's from that city. Weird stuff. There's all kinds of really weird reasons why people decide what team is going to be their team. I know a kid who liked the Vikings because they were from Minnesota. It's going to take, man, a patriarchy brings sports. I mean, it's going to take a dude with money to bring back sports. I don't really understand where that comment, how that goes with anything, but it's definitely going to take it's going to take money, and it's going to take somebody to come in and kick some ass, clean up the city. Not just sports, but all kinds of things. Crime and housing and jobs and everything else. Oakland needs a spark of hope right now, and there's not a whole lot of that happening. I mean, we have a lot of people who are just not doing what they should be doing. The mayor's just dropping the ball left and right. City council isn't helping. Do we even have a police chief? I don't think a set of balls is really what makes a city run, as much as actually having some guts. I don't know. Maybe there is something to it. Maybe people don't respect a woman leader. People said that a lot about Libby Schaaf in dealing with the Raiders, is that they didn't respect having a woman at the table. That's a possibility, especially when it's old rich white guys. There are a lot of prejudices and old thinking that tends to stick around. It doesn't just go away. It will take multiple generations. And if you're coming at this from a just to be contrarian, I guess, whatever. Again, I don't believe it's a man or a woman thing, but it's going to take somebody who's got guts to step up and say something. And if they have a set of balls or not, it doesn't. I don't think that affects it as much as being strong and having a sense of right and wrong, and really caring about what's happening versus how it's going to make them look necessarily. I really do feel like somebody has to come in and actually make some enemies, because none of this stuff is going to happen without a fight. You know, somebody's going to have to step on some heads, and that's the reality of it. And I know Oakland's not used to having that anymore. nobody really comes in with a vision and says, hey, we're going to do these things. We're going to do them whether you like them or not. And that's really what they need right now, because everything is, there's a committee to have a committee. Everybody's looking to see what is going to cause the fewest headaches and the fewest arguments, and what's going to look good to your constituents. You know what? If it was me, I don't give a rat's ass what happens 4 years from now, as long as the problems are fixed today. If I fix today's problems now, I would hope that you would re-elect me in 4 years. If you brought me in and I dropped the ball left and right, and it has barely been 1 year, I would hope you would fire my ass. Get the recall going, you know. If things were not moving in a direction, you know, I would expect those things. If I made a few people uneasy while I got the job done, okay, let's go to the polls and let's see what happens. And you take your chances, and that's. But you got guys who are going, well, I really want that next one because I'd like to get that $150K a year, and take that as a stepping stone to, you know, a state assembly or a Senate gig, or maybe parlay that into the next, you know, lieutenant governor or president. You know, that's what a lot of these people are doing. I have no doubt that Libby Schaaf was attempting to do that. I think she had big political aspirations, and but she really kind of she was too wishy-washy on a lot of this stuff. Didn't take any advice from anybody, and didn't do the work necessary. She's more interested in her own personal goals or whatever, and then and not in what was in line with what the people wanted. We just did everything wrong, and I mean, there's also a lot of infighting and backstabbing within the city, political opponents and different offices. You know, whether it's the city council or whatever. It just, there hasn't been that synergy of wanting to get something done. You've got activists working inside the city government, trying to make their own agenda and progress that. And then you got some who are just like, they don't know. And something vague needs to be over. The media is problematic on multiple sides. You have a media Oakland's bad, and then you have media that's you know, trying to say, hey, we need these programs and stuff, and this is what people want, and that's not necessarily it. Anyways, the whole point of this was, I'm wondering if directive, and I hope there isn't. Maybe these are just jerky guys that are having a bad week or something, or they had some bad clams. I don't know. But hopefully they're not going to take this out on the fans who do show up and support them. Anyways, guys, this has been 23 minutes, and I got to go. I got a baseball game to get to. Anyways, enjoy your weekend, what's left of it, and I'll see you guys around. Please subscribe to Zennie62, like and subscribe, and I'll be around. See you guys later.